It was actually a quite nice talk from Baslor about this starter project, right?
Yeah, and we do want to focus on the new developers and new contributors, so it was really right on.
Yeah, and today we actually had a great selection of talks, and we have 3 more, so please stay tuned and keep watching, right?
Yeah.
So I think today we talked about Jakarta EE 10, 11, and Tanya actually mentioned that next year is going to be the 5th anniversary for Jakarta.
Yes.
So I think it's important for us to talk about the importance of Jakarta EE and why developers should use it, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think, Tanya? What do you think is the importance?
So first thing that I want to say is, and mention again and again, the platform project and all the conversations that are happening on the Jakarta EE platform mailing list. So please tune in. There is actually quite an interesting conversation that is happening right now. So I would alert you to join in and be part of it and observe what's going on there. So in terms of why do I think Jakarta EE is important? Well, Jakarta EE is a successor of Java EE, right? And Java EE has been proven standard and set of specifications throughout actually 2 decades before even Jakarta EE came into picture for development of the Java enterprise systems. So it has been proven technology that has been focused on clear separation between application development and anything that is related to runtime and the infrastructure. So that is the true initial and continuous value of the Jakarta EE. Jakarta EE is also, as opposed to many other frameworks out there, open multi-vendor ecosystem that allows level playing field for everyone to participate. So if you look at our working group members, we do have everyone from jugs to small startup companies to medium companies, and then I would call mega companies like IBM, Oracle, Red Hat now, recently Microsoft, I was going to say Microsystem. Sun Microsystems is way back in the history, but Microsoft, we're super happy to have them as part of our community. So from that perspective, Jakarta EE really is a set of, as I mentioned, specifications, and it needs a standard that others use to develop their implementations and support Java enterprise developers. It is reliable, sustainable, it is vendor neutral, and that is actually of the extreme importance to our customers who don't need to feel locked in with one vendor only. And now also I do want to mention and play it up from the importance of Jakarta EE, that Jakarta EE plus microprofile is a very powerful combination that answers all the needs of the new cloud application architectures. But I do also, for example, that are relying on building systems based on microservices. But at the same time, not all new applications are built based on the microservices. And Jakarta EE can answer needs of many applications out there that are still very relevant for the cloud native, but not necessarily need to build upon microservices. And if they do, they could do it even without microprofile. But as I was saying, microprofile and Jakarta EE is definitely a very powerful combination. And it is really not like some of our users are continuously mentioning, yes, but anything Jakarta EE can do with or without microprofile Spring or Spring Boot can do it as well. Well, that is true, but it is not necessarily healthy for our community to be have just one option available to them. There are many other options, and one of them is definitely Jakarta EE. So I would invite everyone to look into all the different reasons and all the different specifications that Jakarta EE is offering. And do remind you that most of the frameworks out there are still relying on some of the Jakarta EE specifications as well. So while someone can interpret, yes, but it is basis for other frameworks, one can also say, well, I don't necessarily need to use other frameworks. I can just use directly Jakarta EE. So the options are out there for the user.
Right.
But
yeah, all great points actually, Tanya. But we want to hear from you as well. So please feel free to put in the chat section. What do you think is the importance of Jakarta and why developers should care about Jakarta? We want to hear from you as well. And we actually have a video that we interviewed some of our community members and asked them why they think Jakarta EE is important and what is the significance. So let's watch that.
Yeah.
So I think the significance here is it really enables us to have innovation within enterprise level Java that enables us, whether you're using microservices or monoliths, whether you've got a brownfield application or a greenfield application. It allows us to introduce that innovation as and when we're ready and enables us to have access to that innovation as it comes out. And the great thing about it being open source is that you can have a say as a developer in that sort of trajectory and where it's going, that strategy, and you can help to influence that and really decide what the future of Java in enterprise is going to be.
Jakarta EE is sort of everywhere, and the way we experienced that with Jakarta EE 9 was that we changed the namespace, and we changed it from JavaX to Jakarta. And you would think that was kind of a thing that would affect Jakarta EE developers, but it kind of rippled through the entire ecosystem. So everything from Spring Framework to Spring Boot and Tomcat and Jetty and Hibernate and you name it, everybody were affected by this namespace change and will have to do some work in order to get there. So that kind of shows how integral part of the Java ecosystem Jakarta is.
Jakarta EE really provides update to the existing technology and is enabling Java enterprise developers to move forward into the cloud era. So any Java enterprise developer needs to be aware of Jakarta EE as one of the few solutions for enabling Java enterprise developers to focus on the business part of the application and not necessarily needing to worry about the lower level infrastructure interactions.
By being standard compliant and using the specs that Jakarta EE provides, users are independent, so they are not tied to a particular vendor. And if that vendor gets purchased or even should go bankrupt someday, that means being standard compatible has them on the safe side, so they are not with a technology that may longer be available or may no longer be affordable.
So really it is a key piece to the entire Java ecosystem puzzle. Java EE and its today Jakarta EE, without this technology, Java wouldn't be what it is. There wouldn't be as many players, it wouldn't be as broadly adopted as it is today. So it is very important to keep this technology relevant and strong. But ultimately, every single Java developer's career and livelihood actually depends on the health and success of this technology. Again, for in the next 10 or 20 years or more, we hope.
Well, the beauty of this whole technology and why I'm advocating is that it's so perfectly cloud native by design. And 25 years ago, we didn't even know that, of course. But the reason therefore is you have the specifications that tell you how to do database transactions, generate web pages, do messaging, for example. You can use these interfaces in your code. That's all you got to do. Everything else there is infrastructure. The implementation, the Docker container, whether or not it runs in, is infrastructure. The cloud or not it runs on is infrastructure. As a developer, you can really focus on only the technology that you want to use for building business features. Everything else can be left to the people with infrastructure.
Okay, so that was quite interesting. So actually, let's continue this conversation in the next studio session. But why don't we look at the next speaker and
Okay.
join that talk?
So we heard quite a bit about Java today and enterprise Java development, but we didn't really talk about testing. So our next talk is going to be really important because it's talking about easy Java integration testing with test containers. And Fabio will tell us all about it. So why don't we flip it over to Fabio and learn about testing?